Hello, and welcome to And Now You Know. I'm Teresa, and tonight I'll be answering the question, why does a word look stupid after you stare at it? Have you ever been reading and you see a word pop up constantly, and the more you read it, the more it feels dumb? Or even in conversation, hearing a word over and over again until it ends up sounding like nonsense. This happens to me more often than I care to admit, especially when I was teaching my son how to read. But I never really knew what caused this. This phenomena is called semantic satiation and was first studied by psychologist Leon Jacobovitz James in his 1962 doctoral dissertation at McGill University. His dissertation, Effects of Repeated Stimulation on Cognitive Aspects of Behavior, Some Experiments on the Phenomena of Semantic Satiation, found that when your brain sees or hears a word, it instantly connects it to the meaning and processes it quickly and automatically. But when you overexpose yourself to the same word through repetition or staring, the neural pathways linking the word's spelling or sound to its meaning become temporarily fatigued. Simply put, you're temporarily short-circuiting yourself. The brain's response to this is very similar to how you're capable of tuning something out. The reason it ends up feeling like absolute nonsense is because the brain starts focusing on the word's letters, sounds, and even the visual shape of the word instead of the actual meaning. And that's when you, or rather I, start feeling like the word is dumb. This is completely harmless, and the word in question will regain its meaning once you focus on something else and revisit it after a while. But then I got to thinking, what other silly things does your brain do to trip you up? Tip of the tongue. We've all been there. You get asked something incredibly easy like, who is that actor in that movie? You can see him in your head, hear his voice, even quote him, but the name completely escapes you. It's literally your brain shrugging and saying, It's not a sign of memory loss, it's just a failure to retrieve information. But then we all know what happens. You go all day trying to think of who he is, and you wake up at 2 a.m. and bing, you got it. Well, that's memory consolidation. While you're sleeping, your brain replays the day's events and reprocesses thoughts. While you're awake, you're often stressing your brain out over trying to force the answer, so no matter how hard you try, it won't come to you. While you're sleeping, your brain can relax and process everything properly, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's who it is. Déjà vu. That feeling that you've done something or been somewhere before. This is explained as a conflict in your recognition system. Familiarity and recollection travel along different neural pathways. Typically, they work hand in hand, but déjà vu happens when the familiarity pathway reacts strongly and doesn't match the response of the recollection. That's why the moment feels so familiar, but you don't actually remember it. Then there's mondegreen. This is when you're talking to someone, they say something, and you completely misunderstand what they said. A famous example is In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. The story goes that Doug Engel was extremely wine drunk when he sang it for drummer Ron Bushy. Ron asked Doug what he intended on calling the song. Doug said, In the Garden of Eden, but what Ron heard was In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. What happens here is your ears correctly hear the sounds, but when they reach your brain, they get misinterpreted. The brain fills in those sounds with alternatives that seem to make sense. Or in the iron butterfly scenario, it was probably just trying to make any sense of what he was hearing. Don't fret though, very rarely do any of these indicate any type of neurological disorder. But if you're concerned, always get yourself checked out. And now you know. If you have any questions you'd like answered, feel free to send me a message on Twitter at ANYKShow or email me at andnowyouknowshow@gmail.com. Until next time.